Hi, Scott with FDJtool.com, and I thought I'd give you a quick look at our line of Lortone Rotary Tumblers. These are great tumblers. They come in a variety of sizes from 3 pounds, 4 pounds. They're even multi-barrel models. We really like them. They're quiet. They're really great quality. In fact, they're going to be a lot better than those economy ones you're going to see in discount places. And because we like them so much, we thought we'd give you a little sneak peek as to how they work. So let's take one and show you how to use them. I'm going to use the Lortone Model 3A tumbler for our demonstration. It works just like any of the other Lortone Rotary tumblers, so I thought it would be a good place to start. This particular tumbler has a 3-pound capacity, and that basically means that when you fill your bowl, or your barrel rather, with media solution and the pieces you're going to tumble, that it must weigh 3 pounds or less, because that's what this motor is rated at, and you don't want to put any excess weight on there, otherwise you're going to put strain on your motor and your tumbler just isn't going to last as long as it ought to. Okay? So, before we get started tumbling, we've really got to look at our media. The media that we have here is stainless steel shot. And the reason I chose the stainless steel shot is because it has become one of the very popular types of media that people have been using to polish their pieces. And basically it consists of a variety of differently shaped stainless steel pieces. There's balls, there's cones, there's pins, there's different things in there. And they're all different shapes in order to allow it to get a lot better coverage over the pieces that you have. One shape may not get into all the cracks and crevices that different jewelry pieces may have, so a variety of shapes in there is going to do a very good job on that. Secondly, we've chosen the stainless steel shot over the regular steel shot because although it is not the most pristine stainless steel around, it is not surgical quality or anything like that, it does have a lot of anti-rust properties in it that will enhance its usefulness because it will stay nicer longer rather than the carbon steel shot, which can rust much more quickly. But even that being said, you still have to get your shot ready because when it comes from the manufacturer, it's going to be covered with a lot of oils and debris and things like that from the manufacturing process. You want to clean all that off. If you don't, and you start running your tumbler with those things in it, it's going to make your pieces very dirty, icky, and you might not even be able to clean them up once they've been contaminated by these things on your shot. So let's go ahead and clean those up and get started. And the best way to clean them up is to just run a tumbling process. We're going to open up our barrel. Take the inner lid out there, and we're going to fill it up with our stainless steel shot. Now there's 2 pounds of shot here. That's the capacity that or the quantity rather that we sell. And that 2 pounds fills up about that much of your barrel, but that's going to be plenty for a lot of the pieces that you're going to be tumbling. And you want to put water in there, and you're only going to want to put water to just cover the shot. Don't put less and don't put more because any more isn't going to do the job. It's going to be too diluted, and the media isn't going to do its job, and too less, you're not going to have enough solution there to clean as well. So just enough in there that's just going to cover it. But one last ingredient is our burnishing compound. And you need to put burnishing compound in there because it does a very good job in aiding in the tumbling process. This particular solution you only need a cap full of for a barrel this size. So I'm going to pour a cap in there like that. And like that. And the reason we use burnishing compound rather than a lot of other things that I'm sure you've heard friends or other people use is because burnishing compound is designed for the tumbling process. It's for lack of a better word, it's a lubricant and cleaning agent. And what that does is it helps lubricate the pieces as they move through the media, and it also carries away all the debris and things that will be ground off of your pieces as the tumbling process works. There's also chemicals in the burnishing compound that are going to help keep your shot cleaner, nicer, and last longer too. So a lot of other things that you might want to put in there with your water to tumble aren't going to take care of your shot, and they actually might not be very good for your shot. And that's something you want to keep nice so as you do your tumbling processes. It's going to keep your the pieces you tumble nice and clean. So now we got my water, my media, and the burnishing compound in there. I'm going to go ahead and seal up our barrel. Be sure to push the inner lid in very tightly. You want a good seal because you don't want any leakage around there. We'll put the cap back on, and again, that should fit nice and snug as well. There we go. Tighten it with our nut. Make sure that the knurled part of the nut is facing up. Tighten it on there. There we go. And we'll place the barrel on our rotary tumbler here. Now the nice thing about the rotary tumbler, it's really easy to use, not complicated, so when I plug it in, it will turn on automatically. And we're going to let it run for a few minutes or so we can get an idea of how well it's cleaning our steel shot, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we have let this machine run for about a half an hour to try to clean up our steel shot, so let's check out its progress. Go ahead and open up the barrel. There we go. Down on there. And see what the solution looks like. And oh yeah, that is some dirty water there. You definitely don't want to run any of your jewelry through the tumbler if you've got that kind of debris and whatnot in the solutions, because these are the oils and debris that were on your tumbling media, the steel shot, and if you run your pieces through the machine with those things in there, it's just going to pound it right back onto your pieces, and it won't be a very pretty sight. It'll be a very dull gray looking pieces, and you won't like that. So I'm going to go ahead and drain the rest of the water off here. Okay. Add more water and a little bit more burnishing solution, and I'm going to run it again for another half an hour or so and check on it. I want to see clean solution when I pour it out of the tumbler. That way I'll know that my shot is clean and it will be ready to tumble. So let's go ahead and put the lid back on here. Side. Again, put the lid on tight, make sure it's sealed. Again, put the knob back on with the knurled side up. And let's start it again and get that shot clean. Alright, now that I've got nice clean steel shot here, let's go ahead and do some tumbling. So get my barrel here, pour in my 2 pounds of steel shot. There we go. And I'm going to fill it up to just above just to the level of the median there. Remember, I don't want to put in too much. Too much will not be very effective. You can see that. Not too much water in there. Okay. We're going to put in just a capful of our burning solution. There we go. And I've picked out a variety of pieces to tumble. Just a mishmash here to give you an idea of what the barrel can do here. We've got a brass ring, we've got a silver chain, got a bunch of pennies. Everybody knows what pennies looks like. You know, they get tarnished and dirty, so put those in there. And I've even got an ear wire to try out here too. Now, ear wires are okay to put into your tumbler. A lot of people think that steel shot is going to mangle it, bend it all up, but actually it won't. And it will even work harden the wire because of the action that the steel shot is going to do to it. So perfectly fine. We'll get that nice and polished. Let's put our lid back on here. Remember to get that seal nice and tight there. We don't want any solution leaking out. Put a cap on tight as well. And remember when we put our nut on the top, the knurl side up. And we're almost ready to tumble. Now when tumbling with steel shot, you're going to be looking for finishing times of around an hour or so, but it can go to 2 hours, or if you really find that the finishing process hasn't come along to your satisfaction. When doing this, it might be a good idea for you initially to start checking it every 15 minutes or half an hour just to see how the progress is coming along in the finishing process. It's also a good idea now and then to check the solution in your tumbler, because as we saw when cleaning our stainless steel shot, if any debris or gook is the best word I can think of starts building up in the solution, you want to change that as quickly as you can, because you don't want that to be ground up onto the pieces that you're trying to get nice and shiny, because otherwise they'll turn out gray and dull and it's not going to be very pretty. So even if that hour isn't up, go ahead and change out the solution, put new fresh water in, put some burning solution back in, and start it up, and that way you'll keep everything clean and you'll get a much better finish. So let's go ahead and start our tumbler up, and we're going to see how well our finishing comes out on our pieces. It's been an hour, so I've taken everything out of the tumbler, I've rinsed off and dried my pieces, and I think the results are going to speak for themselves. The silver chain is very bright and shiny. The brass ring, even the pennies have a beautiful shine to them. Even the old ones that have had years and years of wear are looking shiny too. If they're not quite as shiny as you'd like, obviously put them back in the tumbler for another half an hour, hour or so. Get them polished up a little bit more. I'm sure you'll like the results. Even our little ear wire here is not mangled at all. In fact, it's looking bright and shiny. So I think overall the steel shot did a really good job on our pieces. But that's not the end of the tumbling process. You got to take care of that steel shot. You got to drain out your barrel, rinse off your media, dry it completely before you put it away, because you want to take care of your media. It's the most important part of the process, and good clean media will give you good clean results. So in a nutshell, there's how to start tumbling with the Lortone Rotary Tumblers and the use of stainless steel shot. So I hope that will answer some questions for you, and I hope you have good tumbling. My name is Scott with FDJtool.com.